In today's video, framework laptop. Hi everyone, my name is Mizen, and in today's video we are going to be going over a kind of first impressions and basically the framework laptop. I ordered mine, it's arrived, I've had it now since yesterday morning. I've been playing with it, and I'm just going to come right off the bat and say it is incredible. So in this video I'm just going to quickly unbox it. I'm going to show you some footage, I'm going to give you some positives, some quirks. Everyone on this channel knows that I'm a Linux user, so it's going to be relevant for that, so Linux and framework together. So let's just get right to that. If you're one of those people who basically is on the fence about buying a framework laptop, trust me, I was right there with you. I've been in the market for buying a laptop for a little while now. It was between the framework, it was between the Yoga Slims, the Lenovo kind of carbon ThinkPads, as well as the MacBooks, the M1 and M2 series stuff, and all had their plus and minuses. But for me, there is some red lines that I'm not willing to cross. So the soldered on RAM I can almost push past, but soldered on SSDs is some serious BS that I cannot stand. And basically when it comes to buying the laptop, it had to weigh up various different options, and the framework laptop really surprised me because you know, to have this kind of right to repair, being able to upgrade your laptop and stuff like that, you might expect some compromises, and I'm sorry, but there just isn't any. Basically, framework have now crossed a line where you don't need to compromise for your laptop. If you want to have Linux laptop and you want to have it upgradable and repairable, and you want to be able to upgrade different components of it without some BS kind of like soldered on components or special repair programs, you know, in the past there wasn't options for that. You know, I'm waiting for that to happen in the tablet market and the phone market. There are companies moving there. When it comes to the laptop market, honestly, framework have nailed this. I got the 12th generation Intel one. I would prefer a Ryzen if possible. An ARM one in the future would also be really cool. I got the 12th gen one. I put Endeavour OS on it. I haven't tweaked the operating system yet. There are lots of stuff you can do to tweak it, but yeah, man, trust me, if you're on the fence about this, you will not be disappointed. I can say for sure if I had bought one of the other three laptops, I would have regretted the medium and long term. I can't believe that actually we've gotten to a stage where laptops and electronics components have become to the point where you expect a 2 or 3 year lifespan before you replace it. That's like fucking insane. How can we possibly, how can that be, you know, 2 or 3 years for a device before it becomes obsolete, or because you expect it to break? Now, I've got some older laptops. I've got an older MacBook Pro from 2011 that still works. It doesn't, the dedicated GPU had that overheating problem, but the integrated GPU still works, but the laptop works. But today, that's just not the case. There are lots of pluses about the laptop, really. There are tons of pluses about it. And I have a few, not negatives, but basically not positives or negatives, just in the middle. We're just going to get those couple out the way first. The first thing was basically mostly due to the fact that probably it's a BIOS issue or firmware issue, but it could be the fact that it's new, but sometimes it won't turn on unless I unplug the battery. Not the battery, but the power cable. I don't know why that is, but I mean, I just unplug it and then it turns on after like a minute. It might be to do with the hibernate or sleep thing from Linux, I can't tell. But I haven't tweaked any of the settings yet, so there's that. Apart from that, I don't think I have any other negatives about it that are related to the laptop, to the manufacturing of itself. It's mostly to do with Linux and framework compatibility. A few different keys that don't work. My brightness keys don't work, for example. I know there's a fix for that. If you disable the ambient light sensor, you can enable the keys. So I don't like ambient light sensors on laptops anyway. I find them more annoying. There are a few things like that, but those aren't really hardware problems. They're just compatibility between operating systems. And when you install Linux, you kind of expect a few refinements here and there you need to do. But let's talk about the positives, because honestly, there's loads. The screen is awesome. It's not a super high refresh rate, it's 60 Hertz, but I mean, I'm just not noticing it that much. It's so good. It's such a good resolution. It's such a good size. I'm really impressed by it. I was not expecting to be as impressed as I was, but it's a really good screen. The build quality, honestly, is super premium. I'm really impressed by the build quality. I'm really happy with the build quality of this. It's all like metal, aluminium, whatever it is. It's not plastic anyway. It's really good material. It just feels really good. It looks really good. It's lightweight. I haven't had any problems with this at all, with any kind of marks or manufacturing defects. I replaced the bezel on mine with orange, as you can see. I mean, it's just a really good build quality laptop. When I got it, I opened up the back, 5 screws, popped in my M.2 and also the RAM. I mean, it was so easy, it's so quick. Really, just good job with that. The trackpad, some people don't like it, but actually I think it's fine. Now, if I try to compare it to like a MacBook Pro trackpad, I mean, sure, but I don't think that that's fair. I mean, when it comes to trackpads, like Apple really have got those nailed down, but it's better than 90% of all the other trackpads that are out there. The question is more to do with, you know, can you use it? Yes, you can use this, no problem. It's really smooth on Endeavour OS. It's really smooth for me. Definitely no problems there. The speakers, some people have mentioned the speakers aren't awesome. I mean, I'm going to play a clip for you now so you can hear it. As you can see, I mean, they sound, I mean, it's coming through my dual microphones, so I don't know how it sounds on your end really, but it's fine. But I mean, I'm not really one for using laptop speakers almost at all anyway, so I can't really say that it's something that I care about that much. I mean, I basically use headphones. I'm a very, very cautious and pensive kind of buyer. I spent 3 months famously buying a pair of headphones and trying out different ones before I bought them. I'm using headphones on the train, on the plane, when I'm traveling, when I'm at work. I even use headphones. I don't often use the speakers on laptops or tablets. I mean, when I'm at home, I can watch a movie on it. If the question is, could I watch a movie and listen to some music on this? Yeah, I would be fine with that. But then I'm not that picky. But I think that for most people, it would work perfectly fine. The keyboard is really nice to type on. I do like the keyboard. I have a bunch of extension modules for it. Honestly, I basically put it to anyone who's watching this video. If you're watching this video, you are on the fence already, or maybe almost ready to click to buy something. Now, most of you are probably here and you probably have a few options comparing the framework to other laptops. Those options are definitely going to include a MacBook. At some point, the M1 or M2 ones, those will definitely be in there. Yoga Slims are a good value and good performing laptop, as well as most ThinkPads, even the newer ones, the Carbon, X1 Carbon and so on. Those also. If you're on the fence about buying a framework, the framework is included in those lists for a reason, because if you look at the specs of the framework compared to those, this framework doesn't always match up, but the fact that you still include it in that list is there for a reason. I can honestly tell you that if I had bought one of the other 3, I would have had some kind of buyer's remorse or regret. I have only had the framework for a couple of days, but honestly, I'm super stoked with it. It's so good. I'm really, really happy with it. I just think that I would not have been able to overlook the flaws of the other ones, hence having the framework on the list in the first place. If you are on the fence about buying a framework laptop, I mean, take it what you will from me, some British guy living in Sweden, small YouTuber, teacher. Take from that what you want. I think it's awesome. It's a really good laptop. Over the next week or 2, I'm going to tweak the laptop. I'm going to change some of the settings, modify it so the battery is really good under Linux. There's a few things there you have to do, a few hoops to jump through if you're using Linux. I think that in a couple of weeks, I'm going to come back with like my tweaks, the things I've done, how much it's improved for me. So I'm actually looking forward to doing that. Definitely subscribe to the channel and like and hit the bell notification so you can see that later, because if you want to see my journey with this, then definitely follow, because it's going to be really interesting. I think this is one of the best things that I have probably done. I really love the idea of sticking it to basically most of the industry when it comes to how laptops have been moving towards this kind of everything on a single board, everything soldered down, really anti-consumerist, and they're kind of fighting against right to repair stuff. It's seriously BS, and I can't believe that we've accepted that for so long. So if that part of it's important to you, and that's something that if you had bought a MacBook, for example, or if you had bought a ThinkPad, you bought that and I think you would be unhappy with not being able to fulfill that criteria. I'm not going to say that that's the most important criteria when buying something. However, for me, I mean, to be able to upgrade the components, I mean, the parts that come out of it later down the line when I need to replace the motherboard and CPU, I will get a lot of use out of those parts, that I promise you. So I'm not worried about that. I'm not worried like, oh, well, it's probably a gimmick to replace the CPU or motherboard. I mean, I can use it in my home lab. I'm going to get tons of use out of it. If you ever use any small boards like a Raspberry Pi and stuff like that, having one of those small boards, for example, would be awesome. You could do loads of stuff with that. I think that if you're on the fence about buying one, I think that you should probably just buy one. I think for most people, you're not going to regret buying one. If you're a Linux person who is looking for a non-compromised experience, we all know that there are some things like, for example, I would love, for example, to get rid of my iPhone and have a Linux phone, but at the moment, the stage of Linux phones is you would be suffering some usability issues there. It's not ready yet. It hasn't crossed that threshold, the threshold we expect for what would be daily usability. Framework have achieved that with the Framework laptop. That I can say for sure. They have crossed that line. They have now gone, hey, look, here is a no compromised laptop that is daily drivable for Linux. That I can say, I have no problem saying that. I'm in Sweden. This is not available in Sweden. I had to have this delivered to my sister who sent it over to me. I had to pay import and customs also. That was a few $100 extra. Even with that included, how much I love this, how much I'm proud to have this, is overshadowing even the extra few $100 I paid to have it. That should tell you a lot about how I feel about it. You know, Framework, you know, you need to get your butts out there to other countries. I know it's going to be hard, but trust me, there's a lot of customers out there. You know, I bought it, I had to pay an extra like $400 for it, basically for import and customs. And even with that in place, I was still like, no, definitely need to. You know, I put some risk there for warranty and stuff like that. But when you guys open up in Sweden, then obviously I will deal with that. There is a demand there. For those of you watching this video, you're watching it for a reason. You know what that reason is. I think you know what you really want to do, but you're unsure about doing it because of the other options that are out there. If you were sat in the room with me and we were discussing stuff and you were looking at this, I think you would go, yep, all right, I know what I need to do. And I think you all know what you need to do also. You need to hit like, subscribe, hit the bell notification, and follow me on this journey with Framework. And hopefully you'll get some enjoyment and entertainment out of it, and hopefully it will help a lot of you in deciding what you might do going forward with buying a new laptop. And let's hope we can keep pushing the right to repair and upgradability and sustainability of electronics in the world. That would be awesome also. As always, this has been Robert, and I will see you in the next video.